Well, I've just watched the first episode of the new season of The Mandalorian, and production values are very good. Looks really well made. There are clearly a few bits where they're in the volume, but they're like not too bad. And it's not like most stuff where you're looking at someone head on and the volume is in the background, and it's not too negatively impacting the quality of the production, the quality of the experience. However, the show still suffers from the same problem that Star Wars The Bad Batch suffers from, the previous seasons of The Mandalorian suffered from, the Book of Boba Fett suffered from, pretty much like all the Star Wars content has suffered from so far, which is that the episodes are too bloody short. The opening episode is the first episode is exactly, let me see here, from beginning to end, it's 35 minutes and 16 seconds thereabouts long. And quite frankly, that is too short. It's too short because, well, yeah, you will always want more Star Wars per episode, you could say that. But the real issue is the storytelling. Because they're restricted to a 35, 36 minute, runtime. And clearly this has been, it's possible that with Andor, the episodes were edited the way they were, kind of chopped together the way they were to maximize the number of episodes that were available to be made out of that show, out of Andor. But with The Mandalorian, and just like also with The Bad Batch, but with this season, The Bad Batch, and last season of The Bad Batch as well, the episodes clearly feel as if they were written to that time constraint, and it shows, and it negatively hurts the show. You've got truncated storytelling. You have the Mando going to do things that if it were a show being written, the way, for instance, Game of Thrones is written, or the way House of the Dragon is written, would take a lot longer, would be much more fleshed out, which would be to the benefit of the show, the benefit of the storytelling, are instead very kind of short and truncated, basically, not truncated, in terms of how much time goes into them. The reason this is, again, why they keep doing this, I don't know, but there has been, it was true with the animated show with the Bad Batch, and it's the same with the Mandalorian. So for all the Star Wars content on Disney Plus, is that it continues to retain kind of hangover elements from when, again, particularly the Clone Wars show as as the example, was on broadcast / I think it was cable television, which is that it's been written to a very limited time constraint that is simply, runtime per episode, that is simply not relevant in the streaming space whatsoever, plus the need to have at least 5, 10, 15 minutes worth of time within each episode for advertising, again, that isn't relevant to digital streaming shows. And it is hurting the show. It hurts the storytelling. It hurts the most just how everything is done, like, how characters get literally from point A to point B. It's all too short, and it does hurt the show. It hurt the previous seasons of the show. It hurt Boba Fett, although there's a lot of things wrong with Boba Fett. And it hurts the Bad Batch. There's no reason why an episode of the Bad Batch is like 25 minutes, even shorter than the episodes of the Mandalorian. The Bad Batch as an animated show should probably be 45 minutes long or 40 minutes long per episode. And the Mandalorian should probably be 50 minutes to an hour. And there's no reason for it not to be. And the argument, it's expensive. Yeah, it's expensive. Disney is one of the biggest multimedia outlets on the face of the earth. And if HBO can afford to spend the kind of money they're spending on House of the Dragon, then Disney can certainly afford to spend a similar amount of money, even less considering much smaller cast, on what is the Star Wars IP that's got a much broader audience, because it's PG-13 compared to rated R for House of the Dragon. And again, I don't see why the episodes have to be so short. And it's, again, we'll probably see a few episodes this season that are longer than that, hopefully. but it does negatively hurt the storytelling. It negatively hurts just how everything works in the show. It's all too short. It's all too compressed, unnecessarily so. Apart from that, as I said already, the production values are very good. I am going to talk about spoilers. They appear to be in the process of resuscitating a a battle droid who blew himself up in the first season. His name escapes me. I've forgotten it. I could look it up, but I'm a mid flow, so I'm not going to. And again, it's kind of, yeah. But if you're killing off characters and then resurrecting them, even if they're popular, that kind of robs their deaths in the first place of consequence and long term. Uh, it ruins it takes the gravity away from their deaths. It takes away the potential for consequences of a character dying and consequences in the storytelling long term. This is a problem with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Avengers Civil War had no real long term consequences. Even though it was supposed to be this, event, apocalyptic event where the Avengers ended up fighting each other and so on, and there was no real long-term kind of fallout / consequences to that, and that just hurts the storytelling. It hurts the what does it hurt? It hurts the storytelling. It hurts the kind of it hurts if there's no real stakes in the storytelling. Then how do you? It just hurts the whole bloody thing. If there's no stakes, if anyone can come back from the dead, if there's no long-term consequences to keep parts of the story, which is again my main criticism with the MCU, and so far that hasn't necessarily been the problem with the Mandalorian, but I let dead droids remain dead and just go out and buy yourself or build yourself a new one, as is suggested as an alternative in the show. Outside of that, the space combat sequence was very good production quality. It looked very good. Did it hold my attention? Yeah, it did. I mean, I got slightly distracted during it because I didn't really feel there's no chance of a Mando or Grogu ending up coming to harm from it. But it was a nice little, again, sequence. The CG in the show is very good. Again, if they're at least, for good enough as far as I'm concerned. Again, why they're willing to spend the money on that? They spend the money on the sets. They spend the money on the special effects, the CGI, the costumes, and so on. And yet they are unwilling and or unable or seem to be unwilling to actually write an episode that goes for like 50 minutes to an hour, which is really what this show needs. It needs 50-minute episodes. It's what the Star Wars on Disney Plus needs. It needs longer episodes for fuller, less truncated storytelling. And quite frankly, that is what for Star Wars to meet its potential on Disney Plus or in any form of television format as we know it now, whether it be Mandalorian or anything else, it needs longer episodes. It cannot reach its potential as long as these episodes remain, as long as Star Wars episodes, or for that matter, Marvel streaming show episodes remain in the kind of sub 40-minute, 35-minute or less runtime range. They're just too short, and they're written accordingly, and it just hurts it just hurts the shows. That is my opinion on it. And so while this episode is certainly better than most of what was in the Book of Boba Fett, it cannot reach the IP's potential, the Star Wars' potential, as long as the individual episodes are so short. Anyway, that's my view / reaction / review to the first episode of the new season of The Mandalorian. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you haven't already liked the video, please do, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do so as well. It will encourage me to continue producing more content. So for the time being, toodaloo.